Hobbies ClubHouse. The year was 7250, and Earth had changed in ways no one could have imagined. With the completion of the Department of Extraterrestrial Departures, D.E.D, railroad, the cosmos had shrunken. The space train, an engineering marvel, traveled between Earth and interdimensional space portals. It was a lifeline, connecting alien civilizations to Earth and vice versa, a symbol of peace. But peace had never lasted long in human history, and Maze knew better than to believe this time would be any different. Maze was a detective, one of the best the agency had to offer, and she'd been chasing a ghost of a case for almost 2 years. Aliens were disappearing mid-transit on the space train, vanishing into thin air during hypersonic flights. The security systems recorded no breaches, no anomalies, nothing at all. It was as if the passengers had been plucked out of existence, vanishing. At first, the disappearances were dismissed as accidents or voluntary vanishments. Aliens came to Earth for various reasons, not all of them noble. But when the number of missing individuals climbed to double digits, the agency couldn't ignore it anymore. Still, no one, not even Maze, had anticipated the bizarre and sinister twist the case would take. One evening, Maze found herself babysitting her niece, Lila, a hyper 6-year-old who was glued to the television. Maze had brought a stack of case files home, hoping to sift through them during the quieter moments. Lila's giggles filled the room as she watched Hobbies ClubHouse, a seemingly harmless kids show featuring bright, colorful characters who taught viewers how to paint, build, and play instruments. Maze barely registered the upbeat theme song in the background as she scanned reports. It wasn't until her eyes flicked to the screen, her attention caught by something eerily familiar, that she froze. Her coffee mug slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. "Lila, rewind that," Maze demanded, her voice trembling. "But now." Reluctantly, Lila rewound the show. Maze leaned in closer, her heart pounding. The camera panned across the characters, a whimsical cast of puppets and costumed actors. And there he was, standing in the background, an alien named Torvik, whose disappearance had been one of the first cases she'd been assigned. His distinct emerald skin and elongated limbs were unmistakable. Maze's breath hitched. As the show progressed, she spotted more missing aliens hidden among the cast, some disguised with minor alterations, others unaltered entirely. "My God," she whispered. Without hesitation, she called her partner, Detective Riven. "Riv, you need to come over. Now." Riven arrived within 20 minutes, his expression darkening as Maze explained what she'd discovered. Together, they pored over every episode they could find. The evidence was undeniable, missing aliens were being used as actors on Hobbies ClubHouse. But how? And why? The show wasn't tied to any known network, and its broadcasts didn't appear in traditional listings. It just existed, streaming on obscure channels and online platforms. They traced the signal, but it led to dead ends, looping back on itself like a snake eating its tail. Maze couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them. After days of digging, they identified a pattern. The abductions always occurred between 9 p.m. and midnight, with the victims last seen boarding the D.E.D railroad. Maze decided it was time to investigate in person. Disguised as a commuter, she boarded the 8:45 p.m. train, her nerves steeled for whatever might come. The train was sleek and silent, its interior bathed in a cool, ambient glow. Aliens and humans alike filled the seats, their conversations a soothing hum. But as the clock ticked closer to 9, an unnatural stillness settled over the train. Maze noticed the subtle shift, the lights dimmed ever so slightly, and the air seemed heavier. She glanced around, noting the unease in her fellow passengers. Then, at precisely 9:15 p.m., the train shuddered. The windows went black, erasing the stars and space beyond. A low hum resonated through the cabin, growing louder and louder until it became a deafening roar. Passengers screamed as the walls seemed to ripple like water. Before Maze could react, she felt herself being yanked out of her seat by an unseen force. Her vision blurred, and her body felt as though it were being stretched and compressed simultaneously. She tried to scream, but no sound came. When Maze regained consciousness, she was no longer on the train. She was in a bizarre, nightmarish landscape, a twisted carnival of neon lights and impossible architecture. The ground beneath her feet pulsed like a living thing, and the sky was a swirling vortex of colors that hurt to look at. In the distance, she saw it, Hobbies Clubhouse. The building was larger than life, its candy-colored exterior gleaming with an unnatural brightness. Maze could hear the theme song playing, its cheerful melody distorted and warped. "Welcome, Maze," a voice crooned. She turned to see a figure approaching, an androgynous humanoid with porcelain skin and hollow, black eyes. "You've been such a diligent detective," it said, its voice dripping with mockery. "Who are you?" Maze demanded, her hand instinctively reaching for her sidearm. But her holster was empty. The figure tilted its head. "We are the creators, the storytellers. And you are about to become part of our greatest masterpiece." Maze backed away, her heart racing. "You're behind the abductions. You're using them for your show." The figure smiled, revealing rows of jagged teeth. "They're not just part of the show, they are the show. Their fear, their confusion, their pain, it's what fuels the magic. Children love authenticity, after all." Maze turned and ran, her mind racing. She needed to find a way out, to warn Riven, to stop whatever this was. But the landscape seemed to shift around her, trapping her in an endless maze of corridors and rooms filled with grotesque, animated props. She stumbled into a room where Torvik and the other missing aliens were chained to elaborate sets, their bodies moving like puppets under an invisible force. Their eyes met hers, pleading silently for help. "I'm going to get you out of here," Maze whispered, her voice shaking. But as she reached for Torvik, the walls closed in, and the lights dimmed. The distorted theme song grew louder, drowning out her thoughts. Hours, days, or maybe weeks passed, time had no meaning in this place. Maze fought tooth and nail to escape, uncovering horrifying truths about the Hobbies Clubhouse. The show was a conduit, broadcasting interdimensional energy that ensnared its viewers, subtly altering their minds. Children were the most vulnerable, their imaginations feeding the world's power. But the creators weren't just after the aliens, they were building towards something bigger. Maze realized with growing dread that her own abduction had been intentional. She was meant to be part of the show, her determination and fear adding a new layer of depth to their twisted narrative. In the end, Maze found herself back on the train, but it was no longer the safe, sleek vehicle she'd boarded. The windows showed the twisted carnival landscape, and the passengers were lifeless, their bodies slumped in their seats. The figure from the clubhouse appeared beside her, its hollow eyes gleaming. "You can't escape, Maze. You're part of the story now." Maze stared at her reflection in the darkened window. Her face was no longer her own, it was painted in the garish colors of a Hobbies Clubhouse character. And then the train arrived at its final stop. The lights flickered, and Maze stepped out into the Hobbies Clubhouse, her laughter joining the chorus of twisted voices.
"You look just like us now, Maze. Play with us forever."
Thanks for listening to Silent Tree.